Hey guys, Stiggy here at the Guitar Loft again. Basically I want to let you into a little top tip, a little secret here. Now most of my videos are that way, but this one is major, okay? So, some of you may have bought a guitar or have a guitar or have basically had a guitar from new and you've been playing for a while and you've played the shizawalker out of it. Now do you have these? Yes, the dreaded fretwear. Now, most people would say, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to get a free fret, but if you can't afford that, if you're a student or, if you're just hard up a cash at the moment, or you've got a guitar sat in the corner that's got these that's made it unplayable, and you can't afford to get a refret, well, this is the video you need to watch, okay? Because you need some tape. This is some soldering flux. Okay, this is really important, you do need this, okay, but it's only about like $2 or something, or about £2 in my case, in England, and some decent quality solder. Don't get any cheap solder, get some decent quality silver solder if you can. If you haven't got files, then an emery board is fine, and some steel wool, okay, so all you're going to need, stuff that you'll find in your garage or whatever. And I think you know what's coming here, and you're going to think I'm absolutely crackers, but trust me, you can do one at a time, dead easy, and it's just dead simple. So what we're going to do, tape up around the actual fret. There's one there, and there's one there. Okay, you can just about see that divot there, but I will go a little bit closer. Oh, there you go. Ooh, zoom error. You see that? Yeah. They're normally around the 12th fret area and up here and stuff like that. So you can do this as many times as you want. If you've got you normally have like 3 or 4 or something. Okay, so what you want to do, get your flux, and all the flux is a flowing agent and an adhesive for the solder. There's two main things that you need to concentrate on when it comes to soldering. One is getting it hot enough, and 2 is basically getting good adhesion. So clean your fret off with with your emery board gently, or a piece of sandpaper. It's up to you. Get some of your flux or your soldering paste, depending on which one you've got, and get it in that groove. Okay, that's what you want to do. Nice and simple. Get yourself, it preferably helps to have an old soldering iron. I don't like using my new one on stuff like this, but here we go. You're actually seeing me solder on camera for the first time, guys. Remember, try and get it hot enough, but not too much, okay? And what you're going to want is over the top a little bobble, like that. And you see that? That's right over the top of where that bobble was, okay? And then you're going to get your file. I'm not going to do this all on camera because I'm trying to keep this under 6 minutes. Get your file or your emery board, one of the two, whichever one that you're dealing with, and go easy. You only want to make sure this cools down. Yeah, that's what your main thing. Make sure it's cool. You don't want to burn yourself, or you don't want to start messing up with the frets. Sometimes if you've held the soldering iron on here too long, it can loosen these frets, so go easy. That's why the flux is a good idea, because it means it doesn't have to get as hot. So here we go. Can you see that starting to get flat? Go easy, because the one thing you don't want to do is start digging into these frets. You just want to take this top off. Okay, so I'm going to do this off camera for a second, but you'll get my idea. Okay guys, so we can see now we're not all the way down. I haven't smoothed it all out or anything like that yet. We've still got a lump and a bump. But what this solder's actually done is flowed into the hole and it's filled it. Now this is basically up to you now. We need to stay within the contour of the fret. Yeah, the solder's done its job. Okay, we just need to keep it nice and flat, and we need to keep it easy. Make sure that we don't gouge into actually the fretboard or the actual fret, and we just need to put that round in it now. But that dip is gone. Yeah. If you start digging into this with your file, then you know you're going too far. But you know, it's up to you. You've got to go for it. So it's a matter of either with your emery board, you know, or your file, depending on which one you're using, just giving it that nice round edge. Might take a couple of minutes, and the good thing about it is, you know, if you've still got a bit of a groove, you know, or you've still got a recess to fill, like I can see a tiny recess here, there's a little hole here, that's just the edge of where it's lumped up, but there is a tiny gap here. Go back in, put a tiny bit more solder in it, alright, and then just keep going. So I'm going to carry on and I'm going to polish this fret up, okay? Okay guys, so I've gone in and I've done a second fill, and I don't know if you can see that. It's actually a tiny bit misleading because you can see the different colour of the solder here because I've not done anything with it. But let me see if I can do that. No divot. You see? Done. So get your files or your emery board, depending on how you're doing it. Try and don't dig into the fretboard, but you just want to follow this contour as best you can. Like I said, if you start digging into the frets on either side, then you're doing it wrong. You need to stop. Right? So that's pretty much smooth and the way it is. Get yourself a piece of wire wool or a piece of wet and dry sandpaper. Rub it over the top. This will try and put some of the shine back into it and try and hide any of the actual repair that you've just made. Now don't worry, because this solder is bloody hard stuff, but remember, if you're doing this on a budget, you know, and you can't afford it, then needs must. So at the end of the day, you do what needs to be done, and you do it as many times. But now you can see, there you go. See any divots? No, you don't. Infinitely playable. And that'll last, well, depending on how much you play, it'll last as long as the frets do. Because it is bloody hard stuff, I tell you. But if I take this off now, take the tape off for you. Give me a second. Remember what it looked like before? Because if you don't, start watching the video again. Right? And no, I haven't replaced the fret. Right? If I go a little bit closer, you can actually see where the solder starts and where the solder finishes. But if you polish that up nicely, then that'll all disappear. Okay? But you can do that all the way up the neck. You can do that what you want. Can you see? Solder. So by the time you used a bit of wire wool and you've got rid of half of that, no one will know the difference, but that old guitar that's sat in the corner that you can't play because of the frets are knackered and you can't afford to do it, just remember Stiggy and watch this video. Okay? Look after yourselves, guys. Speak soon. Haha, you thought it was over, didn't you? Yeah, no, I polished it a little bit more, and there you go. All done. Now you just need to clean your fretboard off, but can you see it? No, I can't either. Well, actually, you can just a tiny bit there, but it was free. So hey, guys, we love it, don't we? Freebie! Look after yourselves, guys, once again.